A question I've been asking myself lately is Yu-Gi-Oh dead? It's an honest question, my friends, because I don't see anything moving. There is no interest. The sets that come out, they tank almost immediately after the release. Pre-order prices are, as always, and then once the set comes out, 1 or 2 weeks later, prices are sometimes cut in half. That usually gives a sign that the product is not well received, that the product was a flop. I took this same question now to AI and I wanted to see what AI has to say about that, and AI gave an answer that Yu-Gi-Oh is not dead, but it's facing some challenges. Okay, that's already something. It's facing challenges, but if I remember correctly, this is not the first time. People have been asking already for multiple years, is Yu-Gi-Oh dead? They were almost dead in the past as well. So this is not the first time. So okay, what is now going on? Players are losing interest. Yeah, because there is also one thing here, the complexity. That is true, my friends. Players are complaining that the game is too complex. There is too much power creep. The balance is not correct. The mechanics are very complicated. To learn how to play the game, to be good at playing the game, requires a lot of time, effort, and good cards. And then one thing that AI also mentions is high costs. Expensive staple cards and core deck pieces deter new and returning players, making it hard to keep up competitively. Perhaps. You had those new tins that came out in September. Not a big hype. The hype was bigger last year in September when those tins came out. Now they did okay, they gave a variation. And they gave, okay, you could buy the tin, the metal tin, or you could buy a cardboard box with the exact same content, but then a little bit cheaper. Popular? Not at all, my friends, not at all. So there is something going on, and if Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't step up, they are going to lose the market completely. Yeah, they only got a small market share. Yeah, because if you look at Pokemon, I think Pokemon has the biggest market share, and then you have, of course, Magic the Gathering. But Yu-Gi-Oh, normally or back in the day, they also had a good piece of the pie. But that piece of the pie is getting lower and lower. Why is that? One Piece is starting to come up. One Piece is coming for the place of Yu-Gi-Oh! And are people actively moving away from Yu-Gi-Oh? I'm pretty sure they are. If I look at my sales and I compare it with the first half of the year, with now the second half of the year, my sales, they are almost at a halt, my friends. And don't come telling to me, you don't have enough product and things like that. I don't have enough product. My friends, I've got 21 different booster boxes. For some, prices are high. The retro pack booster, yeah, okay, that comes from the US. That shit was expensive. Yeah, but other boxes, you can see here 30 euros for a booster box, and then for some booster boxes, our prices are to dream of. I usually get pretty good comments about the prices for our booster boxes because they say, you are so cheap. How is that possible? But in the end, Yu-Gi-Oh is not expensive. And then you need to take into account, we don't got a distribution. I buy this from other suppliers across the entire of Europe. If we now also take a close look at, okay, what are now the latest products from Yu-Gi-Oh itself? So the Rarity Collection, that 5D or something like that, that came out recently. Not a single customer asked me the question. So the legendary 5D's decks, not a single customer asked me the question. Retro Pack 2, I didn't want to burn myself on that shit. Retro Pack 1 was not a success either. So Maze of Muertos, upcoming, no. Then you also have Doom of Dimensions. That's not selling. People don't get any interest. And then the Mega Pack Tin 2025. This is now the great tin that came out in September. Big hype, no sales. That's the thing. And they reprint also such a big amount of those things, like those decks that they got. They print so much. But also, if you now take a look at, okay, you have 2024, you have 2025, all the products and all the sets and things like that have been released. If you look closely, I think you can count on your one hand the products that sold pretty much okay. Like Quarter Century Bonanza. That was a set that, okay, that sold. Yeah, that was good. But for all the other products, prices tanked. Okay, I'm now looking for some, okay, what are the Yu-Gi-Oh players now thinking? What are they now doing? Are they still investing in the game itself? How do you guys, or girls, okay, sorry, don't want to offend anybody. What are you thinking now about the evolution of Yu-Gi-Oh, where it is standing for the moment, and where you expect it to go in 2026? I think 2026 will be a very important year for Yu-Gi-Oh, because if they don't step up, if they don't improve, I think they will they need to abandon ship because that's a sinking ship according to me. One Piece is becoming very popular. If I see the sales for One Piece and things like that, that's picking up. Yu-Gi-Oh is going down. If I see messages, if I see comments everywhere and things like that, if I see perception of people, everybody has the perception, Yu-Gi-Oh, people don't talk about Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. What's Yu-Gi-Oh? And if you then ask a question about One Piece or someone is talking about One Piece, it's, oh yeah, One Piece, oh yeah, oh nice, oh have you seen the new set, have you seen this and this? Nobody asks a damn question about Yu-Gi-Oh, you know that. I feel bad because Yu-Gi-Oh already exists such a long time. I think from when did it exist? I think around the year 2000, something like that. Yeah, so it already exists already for a long time, but I think they made some bad choices in the past and that it will be very difficult to recover from that. You have your players that you need to take care of. If you don't take care of your players, you're gonna lose them. And if you don't have enough players, the communities will die. LGSs will not be able to organize any tournaments anymore because if no players show up, who's gonna play? Nobody. And perhaps they need to invest also a little bit more in digital. I thought they already have a certain thing digitally, but I think first of all, they need to make the game more attractive. But secondly, they need to make it a little bit more easier. They need to get that power creep under control. Or they need to do better marketing. Plain and simple. Marketing. Where's your marketing? How are you correctly placing the product onto the market? And how are you making people ready for it? Warm for it? The single market is dead. The booster boxes market is dead. Structure decks, that's sometimes a thing that sells. But for the rest, so I'm now very curious. If you're a Yu-Gi-Oh player, if you played it in the past, yeah, let me know down in the comments. I wanna hear your story. I wanna know your feelings about Yu-Gi-Oh! I've now shared my opinion, yeah, you know, I like to share my opinion. I'm also a seller, you know that, tcgbandits.eu, and I see a potential downfall coming in 2026. I hope I'm wrong, you can blame it against me if in 2026 Yu-Gi-Oh! Becomes great again, you can hold it against me, but I don't see it turning out very positively. And at a certain point, myself as a seller, I will also need to make a decision. Will I continue with Yu-Gi-Oh? Yes or no? If all those booster boxes are just sitting on the shelves and taking dust, that's capital that I can use in different ways. Then you get other TCGs like One Piece, Pokemon, Disney, Lorcana, Magic the Gathering that are more interesting for me as a business. Yu-Gi-Oh? I don't know. There is not a lot of heartbeat left in that. But okay, that was just my 2 cents. If you're looking for products, head over to tcgbandits.eu. If you have any questions, let me know. Do like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell. And by the way, YouTube thinks you like that video, click on it, check it out, let me know if YouTube was right or wrong. And I'm out.